All right, whenever you like.
All righty. I hereby call the City Council meeting for the City of Buellton, December 10th, 2020 to order. If I could have Vice Mayor Art Mercado lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
If we stand and place our hand over our heart, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice
for all.
Thank you very much, sir. Linda, if I could get roll call.
Okay, Councilmember Andrusik.
Here.
Councilmember King.
Here.
Councilmember Sanchez.
Here.
Vice Mayor Mercado.
here.
And Mayor Sierra.
Here. Thank you very much. Do we have any reordering of the agenda tonight?
Yes, Madam Mayor. Because of just a slight procedural issue, I would like to suggest that the City Council reorder the agenda to hold the public hearing, item number 10, before the consent calendar. So that would be the first item up after public comments.
Okay.
Do you have Greg?
Yes.
Okay.
That works.
Just cutting out.
Consent to right after our public comments.
You're breaking up, Polly.
For the consent. Okay. We are going to move agenda item number 10 to just before the consent calendar. Is that correct?
That's correct. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so if you're not speaking, and I will do the same thing when we get going, put yourself on mute and maybe it'll help. I don't know. We move on to public comments. This is the opportunity for anybody to speak up about any item they want on the agenda, off the agenda, whatever they want to talk about for 3 minutes. I do have one public comment that was sent to me from Hudson Hornick. Linda, were there any other public comments?
No, ma'am.
Okay, then I will read this one. This is from Hudson Hornick. Hello, this comment is only meant to address Rancho de Maria's ongoing concern that the drains, which were artificially blocked by the city this year, continue to be an issue for leaf pileup. The last time a serious rain occurred, the water backed up to the level of some cars' door jambs, and they were in danger of flooding. I and other residents would like to know what the city's plan is to address this issue, since the drains are now even less effective. Thank you. And then he's attached some photographs to show the problem. So that's the public comment I have. Have we received any public comments in the last couple minutes, Linda?
No, ma'am. No comments.
Then I am closing public comment. I am moving on to agenda item number 10. There are two parts to this. We have resolution number 20-32, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Buellton, California, approving an energy services agreement with NG Services US for the implementation of certain energy-related improvements to city facilities in accordance with these findings and California Government Code sections 4217.10 to 4217.18, and resolution number 20-35, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Buellton, California, approving an equipment lease purchase agreement with Sterling National Bank for the financing of certain energy-related improvements to city facilities. Mr. Wolf?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the City Council. This is a fairly complex item. I'm going to keep my presentation very short this evening because I know a number of the council members will probably have specific questions that I'm not likely to hit accidentally if I try and get too detailed on this. But between myself, the Public Works Director, the Finance Director, and our consultant team from NG, hopefully we can answer all of the questions that you may have. As the City Council is aware, we have been undertaking over the course of the last 6 months or so a series of studies and analyses to determine the effectiveness, potentially, of installing solar panels at various locations throughout the city for the purpose of not only providing power to those facilities where the solar panels would be installed, but also providing that power in such a way that the resulting energy savings are sufficient to assist in the financing of additional improvements above and beyond those solar energy systems. What was come up with is something that has been discussed previously. In fact, at the last City Council meeting, NG was present to give their presentation, not only on the project, the solar panels themselves, but what some of the other benefits were. In short, what we're looking at is a series of solar panels to be installed at the post office library facility, one carport structure in front of the building, one carport structure behind. We'd be looking at a series of elevated solar panel structures at the wastewater treatment plant, and a series of ground-mounted structures located at the water pump station on McMurray Road. Additional facilities that we're looking at having installed include a series of energy efficiency improvements, lighting, heating, air conditioning type of improvements at City Hall and other city facilities. An accelerated installation of updated water meters with transmitters that would allow for remote reading of those water meters throughout the city. And a series of solar-powered streetlights, which the city's been looking at along Industrial Way. In addition to Industrial Way, we would also have streetlights installed on the access drive to the wastewater treatment plant, as well as in certain locations along Central Avenue. Those have been added since the last meeting at the City Council's request. Again, this is a fairly complex project. There are a lot of moving parts here, but the benefits to this project as they are outlined in the report from NG include a net savings over the 30-year life of this project in excess of $3.7 million. That's after all of the improvements are installed, and after the financing has been paid off, the life of the project, we should see $3.7 million in savings. The city would be protected somewhat against the rising electricity costs, at least, or in particular, at those facilities where these solar panels are at, as well as at the other facilities where we have energy efficiency improvements being put in. There's the obvious benefit of having shaded parking at the library and post office. And then there's again, another obvious benefit with just showing that the city is interested in moving forward with some alternative energy sources and greening up, as we might like to say. The project does require some financing. There is obviously financing costs associated with this, and as solar energy is not 100% reliable and efficient in terms of how much is generated, it depends on how much sunlight is hitting this. There is some variability here. However, NG, through their contract, guarantees 90% of the savings of energy that they project through this contract. There are two agreements that need to be entered into in order to make this transition occur. The first of which is an energy services contract with NG. And the energy services contract essentially spells out the improvements that will be installed by NG on behalf of the city. It includes all of those facilities and all of those improvements that I have named previously. There are a few more that I have probably missed through this. It also outlines maintenance obligations. It talks about the 90% energy savings, and it just essentially outlines the relationship between NG and the city for the next 20 years during the lifetime of the financing. The second resolution addresses the equipment lease purchase agreement, and this is it's the financing for the cost of this of these improvements. It is not a purchase. It's not the same as a home mortgage like most of us are familiar with. It's in fact an equipment lease purchase. So the terms are a bit different, but it functions very similarly. The lease term is 20 years, so therefore the finance term is 20 years. At the end of which all the equipment that's leased would transfer into the city's ownership, and the city would be free to do with it what it deems is appropriate. The bank that has been selected to offer this finance program was found through a competitive request for proposal process that was undertaken by NG, and the interest rate that's offered for this finance program is 2.5%, which is extremely competitive, and I'm sure that NG will be able to indicate that, or will indicate that it's one of the lowest rates they've seen on any of the projects they've done recently here. There is also the issue of a community impact donation you'll find in your staff report. This is something that NG mentioned during their presentation the last time, where they, as a matter of course, will make a donation to a local program within each city that they do business in, and they will at some point in the future here be looking for a recipient program for them to make this donation to. Again, the net savings on this is anticipated to be $3.75 million. The work that's being installed here, the scope of work, will cost the city about $4.5 million. The city will put in $400,000 of that, which means that $4.15 million of the project will be financed over 20 years. The City Council is not obligated at this time to enter into this contract. However, if the City Council does not, then the fiscal impact to the city will be $30,000, which will go to paying for the feasibility analysis, which was done initially at the beginning of this program. So staff at this point is simply recommending that the City Council consider the adoption of both of these resolutions, one for the approval of the energy services contract and the other for the approval of the equipment lease purchase agreement. I will conclude my remarks here. I am available, our finance director, our public works director are available, and Ashu from NG and his team are here to answer any questions as well.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Before we go to any public comment, I am asking for questions from council. Vice Mayor Mercado, any questions regarding either one of these resolutions?
Not right now, Mayor. I'm good.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Andrusik, questions?
No, ma'am.
All righty. Councilman King, any questions?
I do have one for Chanel, and just off the top of your head, Chanel, and I think this number sticks out in my mind. We normally pay PG&E $26,000 a month for our electricity. Does that sound about right?
It's about average, yeah.
Okay, all right, that's it.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Sanchez, questions?
None at this time, thank you.
I just had one quick one, and I know we discussed it at the last meeting. I just need, I guess, refreshing. Maintenance of the equipment. We are leasing this equipment. NG is going to install this, will they be, I remember something about coming out and hosing down the screens. Will maintenance be done by NG while we have the contract with them?
Ashu, would you like to address that?
Yeah. Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the council. Ashu Jain with NG. I'm glad to be back here in front of you. Yes. So anything new that we are installing, which is essentially the solar panels, we will do the maintenance for that. That's included for 20 years. I mean, we will perform that work. The city will have to pay us, but it's part of the contract and part of the cash flow that's in front of you. So yes, that is something that we will do. Now, if we are replacing air conditioning units, replacing lighting, we're not maintaining those because your staff has been maintaining the earlier ones, and there's nothing unique about the units that we are installing. It doesn't add to your maintenance responsibility. So you'll keep, maintaining the air conditioning unit. The lighting actually will reduce your maintenance responsibility a whole lot because you don't have to change lamps and ballasts, because LED lighting will last at least 20 years.
Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
I will go to public comment then. Linda, do we have any public input on this agenda item?
No comments.
All righty. Then I close down public input, public comment, bring it back to council for discussion and hopefully some action. Anybody have comments? Vice Mayor Mercado?
I think we're going in the right direction. It's a great, the 2.5% is for industrial type loans like that right now that's a great, fantastic rate spread over a 20-year period. And with them maintaining it, I just think it's just a step going forward with giving the city an opportunity to go green and to show that the rest of the city that we are making a genuine effort to go green and look at savings over time. And I think this is going to be a great project for us.
Thank you. Councilman Sanchez, comments?
Yeah, you were asking about the maintenance fee, and there's a $15,000, $441 annual maintenance fee. Is that included in the price, or every year we'll be paying that monthly, or how would that go?
You will be, the city will, sorry, Scott, were you going to address that? That will be paid to us on an annual basis. But that is, when we talk about net savings to the city of 3.75 and, all of that, that's accounted for in the cash flow. So it's, so yes, but that will be an additional cost over the contract amount.
Okay. And then 3% gain on that possible per annum. Says that's what I need to know.
Cost of living increase.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Councilman Andresic, comments?
No, ma'am.
Councilman King, I throw it to you.
Well, the only concern I have is that if you look on page 3 of this description here, it says these improvements will save the city about $7 million, but really total cost of this on that second paragraph, the last sentence says that the total cost for financing and everything will be about $6.3 million. It's not really a huge saving over 20 years, just in my opinion.
I'm not sure what document you're referring to, but the energy savings are $7 million. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, but the total cost for us is going to be, at the end of that 20 years, to include financing costs, will be about $6.3 million, according to this. And that is on page 90 of our documents.
Yes, Councilmember King, I believe the $7 million number here is a typographic error. It probably should say $3.7 million in savings. The energy costs themselves, and I'd have to look at the I've got to find the spreadsheet here that calls out, but the spreadsheet that's in the packet does call out the energy costs, or excuse me, the energy savings.
Right.
And all of this.
7 million.
Yes.
So we're a net. Let me get this straight. So your projection is a net 3 million or 3+ million. Either one of you.
Yes, yeah, that's correct. The net savings over 30-year period would be $3.7 million.
Okay, that makes a little bit more sense. Okay, thank you.
And we are turning our city into a much greener, cleaner community. All righty, so any more comments? Any motions for each of the resolutions?
Do we have to do them separate, or can they be done together, Greg?
I'd like them to be done separate, sir, just because one of them is a fairly substantial financing agreement, so we want to make sure the record's very clear.
Okay, then I will move to accept resolution number 20-32 as stated.
I will second that motion. Linda?
Okay, Vice Mayor Mercado.
Aye.
Mayor Sierra.
Aye.
Councilmember Andrusik.
Aye.
Councilmember King.
No.
And Councilmember Sanchez.
Aye.
All righty. Then we have resolution number 20-35, the resolution of the City Council of the City of Buellton, California, approving an equipment lease purchase agreement with Sterling National Bank for the financing of certain energy-related improvements to city facilities. I will make that motion to pass resolution 20-35. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Councilman Andrusik.
Andrusik.
Okay, Mayor Sierra.
Aye.
Councilmember Andrusik.
Aye.
Councilmember King.
No.
Councilmember Sanchez.
Aye.
And Vice Mayor Mercado.
Aye.
All righty. Thank you very much, Ashu. I look forward to doing business with you.
Thank you so much, and thank you for the staff. And it's been a tremendous, opportunity and pleasure to work with your staff and, of course, the council. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay. So now we move on to our consent calendar. We have 9 different items on the consent calendar, so I will read them slowly, hoping I don't get blocked off. Number 1 is the minutes of November 12th, 2020, regular city council meeting. Then we have list of claims to be approved and ratified for payment to date for fiscal year 2020, 2021. Agenda 3, item 3, year 2021, proposed calendar of city council meetings. Item 4, monthly treasurer's report, October 31, 2020. 5 is resolution number 20-31, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Buellton, California, declaring and certifying the results of the general municipal election held on November 3rd, 2020. 6 is the acceptance of the 2019-2020 road maintenance project. Item 7, financial report for first quarter ending September 30th, 2020. Item 8, award of contract for storm drain system cleaning. And item 9 is resolution number 20-33, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Buellton, California, adopting a policy for the management of the city's debt. Any questions for staff on any of the items in the consent calendar?
Ma'am.
If I
Move for approval.
Councilman King? That was Councilman King made the
Yes,
motion.
ma'am.
Councilman Sanchez seconded it. All righty, Linda?
Okay, Councilmember King.
But before a vote, can we just make sure that there's no public comment on it?
Thank you very much, City Attorney.
No comments.
Do we have any public?
Keep us honest.
Thank you very much. Closing public comment. We've had a motion and a second and no public comment. Linda, please proceed.
Councilmember King.
Aye.
Councilmember Sanchez.
Aye.
Councilmember Andrusik.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Mercado.
Aye.
And Mayor Sierra.
Aye. Thank you very much. Okay, now we move on to well, we've had quite a bit of busy work tonight. Agenda item number 11 is council reorganization. We've got 3 items here. The first one, you'll have to excuse me for just a moment. The first one is kind of bittersweet. We get to recognize Vice Mayor Art Mercado for his service to the city of Buellton, over 12 years of service between the Planning Commission and City Council. And we have a couple of parting gifts. We're doing it virtual.
There you go.
You will get them. But, okay, so the first one, it's hard to see with the bubble wrap, but the first one is a plaque to you from the city. It says, presented to Vice Mayor Art Mercado in appreciation of your years of dedicated service to the city of Buellton from 2008 to 2020. So this will be delivered to your door. If we put it in the mail, God knows when you'll get it. But
Spring of 21.
There you go.
Our next organization.
as a retired postal worker, I can make those jokes. And then the other one's just a little bit more personal. We have 2 beautiful wine glasses with the city logo that says Art Mercado, Vice Mayor 2020. So
They will get put to good use.
I think you drink a lot better wine than I do, but
Well, thank you.
anyway, on a personal note, I'm sure council has something to say and perhaps staff too, but I am truly going to miss you. When I got on council, I tried keeping different sides happy, and I found myself moving towards the dark side. And you came onto council, and you took that position. You were the one. When I was going off in one direction and some of council was going in the other direction, you were the council member that tried to pull it all together and kept trying to tell us the benefits of compromise. Still don't get that part, but I have truly enjoyed serving with you. And I want to thank you very much for putting up with me and the rest of the guys. So, any other council members have a comment or anything they want to say?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman, well, let's go with Sanchez first, and then we'll go to King. Councilman Sanchez, John, what you got?
Thank you. I just wanted to thank Art for being a good colleague and being a good trainer to me and someone to look up to through all this, my starting here, and appreciate all your companionship in the company, and your dedication to the city is very admirable. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman King, Dave?
Everything that John just said, and Art, I think that you have been an outstanding council member these past years, and you've been very conscientious on all the issues that come before council, and I know that you have studied these things, and you do have your own opinion about things, and that's very admirable of somebody that serves the public, and I appreciate that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Good.
Madam Mayor?
Councilman Councilman Andrusik.
I want to recognize Mr. Mercado for his punctuality and his dependability. One of the few people we never worried where he was. He was always where we were hoping he would be. And I have always enjoyed his open-mindedness and thoroughness, and he brings everything down to an understandable level for all of us that may not understand where we're at on the project. Thank you, Art.
Thank you. Thank you.
Does city staff have anything they want to add, or?
Yes, Madam Mayor, just very briefly, for everything that the City Council has indicated already, and then some, I'd like to thank you for your service and tell you what a pleasure it's been to work with you over the past year and a half or so. On top of everything they've mentioned, it's just been great to have you on the City Council. You're always real quick to call the city staff with questions that you have. Your questions are very insightful and kind of give us an indication as to the direction the conversation is going to take when we get to the City Council meeting. As was mentioned, your reliability is great. We really appreciate the communication. We really appreciate the thoughtfulness and the dedication you put into your job. It's just been a pleasure working with you, so thank you. And I don't mean to cut any other staff out. If they'd like to make comments, please do.
For staff, sir, it's been a pleasure having you as one of my 5 bosses. I only regret that with COVID, we couldn't have enjoyed this 10-0 season than over the video.
Exactly.
But next time I can get back up to town, I'll make sure I check in, and hopefully we can catch up then.
Sounds good. I appreciate that.
Art, anything for you?
Well, I would like to thank all of the council members. I have thoroughly enjoyed my time on City Council and the Planning Commission. It's great because when you consider the city that you live in, your hometown, and having the opportunity to have lived here for 20 some odd years and a chance to move out of California and learn some different things and an opportunity to come back to your hometown has been great. Like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed working with all of you. We all have different opinions, but we all were able to come to concise an opinion, and we did it professionally. And I think that was really extremely important to me, and that we had a great opportunity to make Buellton a great city. So I would like to thank you all for everything that you guys put in as well, and the time that I got to spend as a city council member.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, Art.
Good job. Thank you. Okay, and with that, now we move on to our new council. We are seating Mayor Sierra and council members Alicia Lewis and John Sanchez. Linda Reed, our city clerk, swore us in yesterday afternoon. It was different with COVID-19, but it was still a really nice, I thought it was a good event. And I welcome John Sanchez back to council, and I welcome Alicia. I'm not sure you know what you've gotten yourself into with the 4 of us and city staff, but
it'll be fun.
I welcome you, and if you have any questions, we are all here. We all have each other's back, so we will all look out for each other, and you are a very welcome addition to our city council. So
Thank you.
and the last of, I totally skipped an item, but we'll go back to that. Appointment of vice mayor. I know that Art was vice mayor. Ed has been vice mayor. Dave King has been vice mayor. I kind of think that perhaps it is Councilman Sanchez's turn to be vice mayor. That would be my recommendation. I don't know if anybody else has any other ideas.
So moved.
I accept.
Yay.
Okay, so if that's consensus, then congratulations, Vice Mayor Sanchez.
Congratulations, Mr. Sanchez.
Thank you.
Likewise.
And John, there's not going to be a pay raise. Sorry.
Oh, no, what?
What?
There's not going to be a pay raise.
What? Thank you.
No.
Yeah, I'm honored. Thank you.
Not even the mayor gets a bump, so doesn't happen. I did completely skip over council member comments / items. So if anybody has any comments or items, Councilman Andrusik?
I would like to thank staff for modifying the launching pad we have on Avenue of Flags.
Exactly.
I traversed the speed bumps or humps at 22 miles an hour this afternoon, and my trunk didn't rearrange my toolbox like they did 2 weeks ago. Very nice job. They were
Yeah,
modified.
that was a serious improvement.
Getting there, huh?
Thank staff for that.
Good. Let's see. Vice Mayor Sanchez.
Yes, I wanted a couple thank yous. One was for Kathy for the chamber this weekend. I got a chance to go on the ride, the poker run, and it was fun. And she put together a good little party, and everybody drove around, and it was fun. And I wanted to thank her and Mark Mendenhall for putting that together, and whoever else was in on that. It was a good deal. Also, I wanted to thank Linda for the event yesterday, for the getting us out for a photo, and it meant a lot to us. Families came out, and I think it was nice to meet Alicia's family, and I enjoyed that, and Holly. It was nice. And I wanted to thank the engineers for the speed bump improvement, which was lovely. I actually hit it about 40 on my motorcycle today just to test it out, and it was smooth as silk. So thank you for that. It was a good job.
Juan didn't get you for a ticket?
He was behind me. No, but it's nice now, and I just want to thank them for doing a nice job getting that straightened out. So, and my other comment was if we were going to have any kind of a special meeting on reopening and switching regions or whatever, trying to get out of this COVID restrictions. And I don't know, we have to schedule a special meeting, maybe make it a public special meeting to get the input from the restaurants and the bars, and if there's anything we can do to help them. I talked with Greg this week and Scott about different ideas, and without getting into those ideas, I think we should schedule, even if we just did an emergency meeting for Monday or something soon, so we can get hot and heavy on that, pushing letters and whoever we have to talk to get that kind of straightened out if we could, to be proactive on that. I know Solvang did something, but that's not what we need to do, but it's kind of a push. So that's my comment.
Okay. I think there is consensus to bring it back, maybe a special meeting. I know Dave is interested, and it deserves a conversation. I don't think a city council telling their businesses to ignore state mandates is the right answer, but I do believe that being clumped into the Los Angeles region is a little far-fetched. So I certainly would be willing to have a discussion about it.
We would have to have a special meeting on that, I suppose.
with consensus, Madam Mayor, we will work on scheduling a special meeting for early next week. We'll poll the council tomorrow and find out when some available times and dates are, and we'll schedule that meeting.
Thank you.
Terrific. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, any other comments or items? Alicia, you're brand new. Any items you want brought back to council or
Not
any
yet. I'm going to use
comments?
this meeting to get my feet wet and get my bearings before I start, making comments.
There you go. All righty. Okay. If there are no other comments or items, we will move on to written communications.
There are no written communications this evening, Madam Mayor.
All righty. Committee reports? No committee reports?
Nobody's been allowed to meet.
Well, I had a library advisory committee meeting yesterday, and Santa Barbara is now trying to, the Santa Barbara Public Library wants to get out of the Black Gold program, which has been rated, priced at a certain rate for Santa Barbara County. That will change if Santa Barbara Public Library gets out of it. It's going to get a lot more expensive for us. Their logic is that since they've lost all these other libraries that were under their umbrella, the Solvang, the Buellton, Goleta, and now Carpinteria wants out, that they have to find cost-saving measures. My understanding was that they didn't want Goleta, Solvang, or Buellton under their umbrella. But anyway, so it is being studied. It was going to go straight to their city council for approval, and the county has slowed them down a little bit. So we'll see what happens with that. Okay, so
Madam Mayor?
no other, yes.
The library is important, and I would hope that we would have sufficient lead time to let our citizens know what might be going on behind or under the current of our presence, and so we can express our support for libraries, but not to be so heavily taxed because we do provide quite a few services for them. Our investment in them is much stronger, I believe. They've organized it well, but the funds flow from each of the cities that are participating, and this may be the time we need to find a different funnel of operation, but I think that I appreciate us not just accepting their directive or an edict that we can't be with them or we have to be with them.
No, I agree. And we are not with them anymore, but the county is now saying, well, if you're going to be doing these cost-saving measures and we give you so much.
Lost you. Frozen.
Need to give it to. Oh, okay. Sorry. I'm trying to speak slowly tonight.
That's good.
Anyway, all good. Okay, so we move on to business item number 12, consideration of appointments to the Planning Commission. We interview the applicants, and then we consider the appointments, and our contact tonight is City Manager Scott Wolf. Sir.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the City Council. You have the pleasure this evening of selecting appointments to the Planning Commission for the next 4-year term. There are 2 seats open for that term this evening. There are 3 applicants which have expressed interest in filling those terms. The applications were received from Patty Hamill, Art Mercado, and David Silva. All are in attendance this evening, virtually, of course. I will leave it to you and the City Council at this point to conduct the interviews as you see fit and consider which 2 of these 3 applicants might be appropriate for seating of the Planning Commission. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I believe after reading the applications that all three candidates are very, very well qualified. We'll start with, I'm just looking at what we have in order according to our packet. And the first one is Patty Hamill. She is on the Planning Commission. She is chair right now. And you've been there for 4 years already?
3 years.
3 years, okay. We appointed you. Why do you want another 4 years on the Planning Commission?
I have thoroughly enjoyed everything about the Planning Commission. I've enjoyed the process, the projects, and the applicants. We've seen some very interesting projects. I've enjoyed working with the planning department and staff, as well as my fellow commissioners, and even working a little bit with City Council when we had that recent joint meeting on the land use circulation element, as well as the recent community cleanup day. Well, I guess recent last fall with some of the City Council members. So I look forward to, I feel like I'm just kind of getting my feet wet, even serving 3 years. There's a lot to learn, and it's just been a great process.
Thank you. Does council have any questions for Patty?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Vice Mayor Sanchez?
No questions. Thank you.
Councilman King?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And Councilman Lewis, any question for Ms. Hamill?
No, ma'am.
All righty. Thank you. Then we move on to Art Mercado, who has turned in an application. Art, you'd think you would have had enough of City Council. What makes you want to go back? You started in the Planning Commission. Are there any particular projects that you want to see completed, or what's your interest?
I'd like to see follow through on our continued development of Avenue of the Flags and the projects that have come up to the City Council, and I feel I can offer an outside view toward that, and have enjoyed my time as a planning commissioner, and like to give back to the city. So that's one of the considerations of why I wanted to go back to the Planning Commission.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Mercado? Vice Mayor Sanchez?
No, I enjoyed working with Art, and I think he got appointed to the council at, if I stand corrected, he got appointed from the Planning Commission. And so he has a lot of experience, and I appreciate all his hard work.
Okay. Councilman Lewis, any questions for Mr. Mercado?
No, ma'am.
All righty. Councilman King?
What's your priority, Art, for the city if you get back on Planning Commission? What do you see as our priority?
Like I said, I'd like to see where we're going to do and where we're going with the Avenue of the Flags. I think the big project that just got approved is something that's over time will pan out for the city, and hopefully that we can continue to have that revitalization of downtown because it builds a strong bond for the community. And I think with the right projects and the right timing, we can make that a huge, it's a poor word to use development, but it can be developed into something that's the city can be proud of.
Okay. Thank you.
Councilman Andrusik, any questions for Mr. Mercado?
No, ma'am, not a question, but an observation.
Okay.
I think, and I don't mean this tongue in cheek or for any other reason than the reality that I think we're best served by the best qualified and dedicated folks that we can attract to serve on the different commissions that we have. And I see, I have two individuals tonight who are more than qualified and amply dedicated and are a testament for happiness in Buellton. I never see them unhappy or kicking the can down the road, and so that's what I'll be looking for this appointment.
Okay, thank you. Okay, if there are no other questions for Mr. Mercado, we move on to Mr. Silva. Welcome, and thank you for turning in an application. This is we usually are beating the bushes trying to find somebody to sit there, and now we have the incredibly well-qualified applicants. I noticed on your application that you have lived in Santa Barbara County for pretty much all of your life, and a recent homeowner in Buellton. What makes you want to sit on the Planning Commission, and what do you see as important projects for Buellton?
Thank you. And also my apologies for being the third wheel on this. So I do apologize for making it a little bit of a longer meeting on this. I relocated up here to Buellton with my husband from Santa Barbara, and it brought us to this location because of the small town feel with it. My family actually were ranchers in Drum Canyon back when it was ranching that was still available and not just vineyards. And so this area has been really important to me growing up. And when I got here, we unfortunately dealt with a recent diagnosis of cancer with my husband. That is thankfully recovering. But if anything between COVID and a cancer diagnosis can teach you how important community is, it was that process. And that's when we saw the Planning Commission. There's a post on social media about an opening on that. And as we've been recovering from it, most of what we have to be thankful for was provided by Buellton, and we were very early residents. Actually, apparently at CVS, you've actually been supportive of us, me picking up like 70 prescriptions at times and checked in on us. And it's the community that's been able to keep us going, whether it's a Taco Bell drive-through person or the pharmacy that's helped us out. We owe a lot of our mental capacity and mental sanity to this community. And so being able to help develop it further and be involved in that seemed like a really great opportunity because already it's given a lot to us.
Wonderful. Really nice to hear. Gentlemen, or excuse me, now I've got Alicia here. It's not just gentlemen. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Silva? Councilman Lewis.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Silva. What do you see as your highest priority for planning and development for Buellton? Like, what is the motivation behind development? What do you want to see?
Yeah, I'm probably in one of the more unique positions of being a gay couple with no children. So it's not usually the Buellton demographic that's often seen in this area. So what I've been most impressed with and interested in is the fact that a community can be built with the businesses that are coming into it based upon a bit more of a diverse attitude. I know that there's been an influx of Santa Barbarans coming in, Santa Marians coming down, and Buellton has become this kind of hodgepodge of different cultures and groups that are, it's a weird melting pot that's forming. So I think that when developing it, I don't know how to articulate retaining the small town charm that's attracting people from LA all across the coast. But I think that as Buellton grows, it's a steady hand and a very kind of common sense approach to how do you continue to serve the community as it evolves, even as you want to retain what makes Buellton so charming and what attracts them here in the first place. That's a long answer to say I love what you're doing already. And I would say that a lot of what's already taking place with measured growth is been quite inviting for us.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you. Any other questions? Is there any public comment on this, Linda?
Let me check. No, ma'am.
All righty. Closing public comment, bringing it back to council for consideration and possible motion. Council, what say you?
I'd
like to nominate Art Mercado.
I would like to nominate.
Sorry.
Okay, so Dave, you nominated Art Mercado?
Art Mercado, correct.
Okay. And Alicia?
I'd like to nominate David Silva. I think the other two are awesome choices, but I feel very strongly in having a diverse voice on our committees and also fresh ideas, new ideas, and I just feel strongly that giving new individuals a chance to be a part of our committees and our development is really important for the city of Buellton. So I nominate Mr. Silva.
I agree with that. I also think Chair Hamill's done an incredible job too. Okay, so Greg, I got this one a little gung ho with all these motions. We haven't had a second on any of them.
Not had a second on any.
So
We did have a second on Art.
I seconded Art.
Yeah,
Okay.
Ed seconded Art's.
okay, so we had shall we take a vote on that, or shall we get the other one?
Why don't you take a vote on that, and then we'll actually yes,
But we do one at a time.
that one now, and then we can ask for a second on the second.
Okay, so we've had a motion on Art Mercado and a second. Linda, roll call?
Before we vote, can I just clarify how many positions are available?
2.
Okay, so I thought. Thank you.
Okay, so Councilmember King,
Aye.
Councilmember Andrusik,
Aye.
Councilmember Lewis,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Sanchez,
Aye.
and Mayor Sierra.
Aye. Okay, now do I have Alicia Lewis made a motion for David Silva? Is there a second on that motion? Okay. And I nominated Patty Hamill. Was there a second on that motion?
I'll second that.
Okay. Linda?
Okay, Mayor Sierra,
Aye.
Councilmember King,
Aye.
Councilmember Andrusik,
Aye.
Councilmember Lewis,
No.
and Vice Mayor Sanchez.
Aye. And I'd like to thank David for coming, and look forward to seeing you in future stuff with your enthusiasm. And I think you'd be great to stick with helping out. And I appreciate your effort to get in and help us.
Mr. Silva, I feel the same way. I truly respect that you want to be a part of our community and get active and play a role in it. And I truly hope that you keep your application handy so that the next time it comes up in 2 years or possibly before then, that you have it ready and ready to resubmit, because you would truly be a great asset. You already are a good asset to our community, and I just wish we had 3 positions available right now.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Dave.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. That was hard. Okay. Now we get on to appointments to boards, commissions, and committees. I'm getting to my paper real quick. Okay, I have the list, the attachment that says who's what and where, and I'm just going to go down. Alicia, I don't know if you had a chance to talk to anybody about these different boards and committees. I know you, like Councilman Mercado, both work full-time, and so does Mr. Councilman Andresic. So some of them are pretty nice because they're quarterly, but if you, whatever you feel that you want to jump in on, the nice thing about Zoom is we can't arm wrestle for it anymore or tackle each other for jobs that we have to work it out maturely. But we will go down the list and see where it falls. Our first board is Central Coast Water Authority. It meets once a month, 9 a.m. on a Thursday. Councilman Andresic has been our rep for many years with Councilman Mercado and Sanchez as alternates. Do we want to let that stand, or does anybody want to jump in on the Central Coast Water Authority?
I'd stay in there and take
So
over.
when you say let it stand,
Councilman Andresic, you are still willing? Just keep it with the current representatives. That would be, Councilman Andresic would be the committee member, and Councilman Sanchez would be the alternate. Do we need two alternates on this one?
Yes, you do.
City manager, do we need two alternates? Okay, Linda. So we do need another alternate for Central Coast Authority.
so
Councilman
unfortunately,
Lewis, are you interested in that?
unfortunately, I wouldn't be able to do a monthly during the workday.
Okay, so we have Sanchez and, well, that's either you or me, Dave.
Yeah, I could probably do that. Can you hear me?
You would be the second alternate, so chances are you would never need. Yes.
Can you hear? Yeah, can you hear me?
Thank
Yeah, I could probably do that. All right.
Did you get that, Linda?
Got it.
Yes.
Thank you. County Library Advisory Committee. Right now it is myself. I thought I was the primary and Vice Mayor Sanchez was the alternate, but it doesn't make any difference. That meets quarterly at 10 a.m. So do we want to leave that one alone?
Yeah.
Council, Vice Mayor Sanchez, do you want to be the primary or the alternate?
I'd like to be the alternate if I had a choice.
Okay. Well, I've been attending the meetings, and as mayor, I like to know what's going on. So, Linda, I'll be the primary. Vice Mayor is the alternate.
Got it.
Okay. Then we go on to Santa Barbara County Association of Governments. And the meetings are held concurrently, so the Air Pollution Control District. I would still like to be the committee member to both of those. If that's okay with council, I'm vice chair of SBCAG this last year, and I'm hoping to be the chair next year. Councilman Andresic, do you still want to be the alternate, or?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, does that work for everybody?
Yeah.
Okay, let me have, thank you. Thank you very much. California Joint Powers Insurance Authority, the JPIA. Councilman Andresic has been the appointed member, and They only meet once a year.
That is correct.
Out in La Palma. Yes?
Can I nominate Alicia to be the second on that, since it's at night?
Yeah, I can definitely do that.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. So you would be the alternate? Or the appointee?
Either one on that one works for me. It's just once a year. I can make that work with work.
I think Ed has been pretty good on that deal, so I would like to see him stay as the primary.
Yeah, Ed, if you enjoy doing that, I'm happy to be the alternate.
Thank you,
I have
Lisa.
no problem. Of course.
Very, very happy you're available. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Then we have the Buellton Chamber of Commerce City Liaison. They meet every month on a Monday afternoon.
Missed the League of Cities.
Yeah.
I'd like to nominate
Miss League of
myself for that one. Oh, League of Cities.
Yeah. Holly, you missed League of Cities voting delegate.
Ah, I sure did.
Typically been the mayor, though, hasn't it?
That's the
Yeah,
mayor and the
that is
vice
the mayor.
mayor.
Correct.
So that
And I
would
think
be
it should stay that
myself
way.
and Vice Mayor Sanchez.
So the rest of us could be halfway home while you're still voting.
On a Friday afternoon, yeah.
Exactly.
It's in Sacramento this year. Maybe.
Oh, it is.
Maybe.
Maybe.
If COVID
Our
allows.
kitchen table.
Yep.
On Zoom.
Bring your tape measure.
September's a long way away. Okay, so thank you very much, Councilman King. So we've got the League of California Cities voting delegate, the Chamber of Commerce. Did I hear Vice Mayor Sanchez say he wanted to do that one?
Yeah, I'd take that over for Art, or from Art's position. I'd be available for that.
Did anybody else did anybody want to come out for that one?
I would go as alternate.
We don't need one.
No, don't need one?
Nope.
Never mind.
You're good.
And I'll be the alternate too.
Yeah, you can do both of them, John.
Thank you.
The multi-jurisdictional solid waste tax group. I know that was exciting. They meet quarterly on a Monday at 9 a.m. It was Vice Mayor Mercado and Vice Mayor Sanchez. Does Vice Mayor Sanchez want to take the lead on the multi-jurisdictional solid waste task group?
I'd be honored.
Wonderful. And who will be the alternate to our solid waste task group?
Alicia?
Yeah, I can be an alternate since, it's unlikely I'll have to go. Sounds riveting.
Have a good time.
The Economic Development Task Force. I really enjoyed serving on it, although I don't think we had a single meeting last year.
Or the year before.
Can I nominate Alicia for that one?
Yeah, me too, if they don't meet.
Aren't I the lead on that? I'm already the lead on that, right? Weren't you the alternate?
It was 2 council members, 2 from the chamber, and 2 from local business that serve on it.
Right. Yeah, I'll take that one if you don't want it.
Okay, well, I enjoyed it, but like I say, we sure didn't meet very often.
Right. Do you want to be the alternate?
It's just 2.
Well,
Because there's 2.
It's two. It's not an alternate. I would like to do it. I would very much like to, unless there's somebody who wants to meet me out in front of the house in 10 minutes and fight over it. Okay. All right.
Then it's you and me, correct?
Correct.
Right.
Correct. The Joint Use Committee for the city/school district.
Take that one.
Anybody with school experience?
I'll take it. Yeah, I'll take it. I like those people. There's a soft spot in my heart.
You need to know something about schools.
Yeah, I think I can manage.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Truly appreciate
Good job.
that. We've got a lot of mending offenses and some clarifying, and you would be perfect there. Thank you very, very much.
My pleasure.
Let's see. Then we go on to the Home for Good, Santa Barbara County. It's formerly the Central Coast Collaborative for Homelessness. It's our homelessness committee. Vice Mayor Sanchez was on it. It meets quarterly around the valley. John?
Yeah, I'd take that again if no one else will, unless someone else wants it.
Anybody want to fight him for the homelessness committee?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, John. Association of California Water Agencies / Joint Power Insurance Authority. Again, that was a Vice Mayor Sanchez job.
I'll do that again if that's needed.
Good choice.
And then we have the Central Management Area Committee for the Sustainable Groundwater Management Act, or SGMA. That was Councilman Andrusik. Are you still willing to continue that one?
Well, yeah, that's been quite active. Actually, it's just getting together. It's been going on for years, but I think recently you saw the helicopter. They were doing mapping. They were mapping the water. It's a very intense and quite scientific undertaking. And I think, and we meet here in Buellton. I think we're meeting every 2 months or quarterly. I believe it's we've been meeting every 2 months for the updates on the goings on. But they're very active, and it's been quite a contract for the county. And we're in the middle district. There's the west, the east, the west, and the central district. Buellton is the central committee and it has to do with mapping and forecasting water availability, which is going to always be a highly guarded position. What's happening with our water, and that's I think we have good people involved. Contributing, answering questions. So it's a very worthwhile.
And I would do the alternate on that again. I did go to a meeting and enjoyed it. So
wonderful. Thank you. And then we have the Central Coast Community Energy. It's now called the 3CE, and that's usually the mayor and the city manager who go to the meetings in. Is it Monterey? There's Zoom meetings right now, but
the meetings are scattered. They'll meet in different locations throughout their service area. Mm-hmm. But they're all Zoom right now, correct?
So if the council has no objections, I will continue since we're just getting going on that one.
Agreed.
I'll second.
All righty. Ta-da! Good job, guys.
Just for information, I'm on the Arts and Culture Committee. There isn't an appointment for that, but I don't know if that's something that we have to worry about in the future.
Let's add it.
I'm on it, and I'll stay on it. But maybe in 4 years we'll have to find someone else to do it. So, but I'm happily cover that. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. Moving on to agenda item number 14, ordinance number 20-08, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Buellton, California, revising Title 15 and Chapter 15-01 of the Buellton Municipal Code pertaining to stormwater management and discharge control. This is the second reading. Ms. Hess?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of City Council. As you mentioned, this is the second reading for our ordinance, revising our existing stormwater ordinance. Just to re-summarize, we are doing this update to fix the gaps in enforcement ability for the Regional Water Quality Control Board. So they have reviewed our proposed ordinance and approved it from their perspective and are just awaiting for the city to adopt this new ordinance. If you have any questions, please let me know and I will try to answer them.
Thank you very much. Any questions for Public Works Director Hess? None? Okay, any public comment on this item, Linda?
No comment.
All righty. Then bring it back to council to consider adoption of ordinance number 20-08.
Comment?
Comment, Mr. Sanchez, please.
We have had a public comment. The original letter today was about the storm drain and the flooding from the storm drain in Rancho de Maria. That was pertaining to the storm drain. And I would like to reserve I would approve the resolution, but reserve the right to take some of those storm drain filters off that are causing problems that might cause a flooding problem.
Madam Mayor, the ordinance here this evening would not, the adoption of this ordinance would not preclude future work being done as necessary by the Public Works Department to correct problems. So that's not an issue.
Thank you.
Thank you. Second. Okay, so we had a motion by Vice Mayor Sanchez to adopt ordinance 20-08 by title only and waive further reading, and a second by Councilman King. Linda?
Okay, Vice Mayor Sanchez.
Aye.
Councilmember King.
Aye.
Councilmember Andrusik.
Aye.
Councilmember Lewis.
Aye.
And Mayor Sierra.
Aye. Thank you. Agenda item number 15, resolution number 20-34, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Buellton, California, for the purpose of budget amendments from operational changes related to fiscal year 2020-2021 budget through the first quarter ending September 30th, 2020. This would be our Finance Director, Chanel Zamora.
Madam Mayor and City Council members, tonight before you is resolution number 20-34 with proposed budget amendments to the fiscal year 2020-21 first quarter. Some of the proposed amendments have already been authorized by City Council at prior City Council meetings and will be formalized into the budget tonight. Some of the other proposed budget amendments arose from operational changes, or they have exceeded their 25% of the budget. The summary of all the budget amendments can be found on Exhibit A of the resolution. The proposed amendments to the general fund totals $155,497, an increase in appropriations that will be offset with $84,000 in revenues, for a net increase of $71,497. On your staff report, I provided a general fund summary that illustrates revenue and expenditures through September 30th, 2020. As you can see, the revenues tend to be lower during the first quarter as a large portion of general fund revenues comes from property tax. These property tax are usually received later in the year, either late December. The first payment is received either late December or early January, and the last one usually in between April and May. So although the revenue is at 17.6% of projected, we do feel that the revenues do not require additional budget amendments at this time. With the exception of the proposed amendments tonight of including $40,000 increase in revenue projections to recognize the award from the Office of Traffic Safety for the implementation of the Sinus Bicycle and Pedestrian Outreach Program. Tonight, we also want to recognize $44,000 to reflect the CARES Act funding distributed to the city this fiscal year to be used for eligible CARES expenditures to help mitigate the spread of COVID-19. And that fund, excuse me. So the increase in appropriations would be $155,497, as mentioned earlier. Part of that is $16,200 increase to purchase a message trailer to allow for emergency alerts. The cost will be offset with the CARES funding received from the state. $4,127 increase appropriation to reflect the cost of the Thompson Cyber Gymnasium HVAC system at Honada School, and this was previously authorized by City Council. The next budget appropriation would be $12,025 increase for the purchase of security cameras at Village Park, Riverview Park, and Oak Park. Again, this was already authorized by City Council. In addition, the budget will require an appropriation increase of $51,985 to include 202 Dairyland Road as the landscape maintenance contract with Valley Gardner. In addition, $40,000 increase in appropriation is recommended to reflect expenditures for the implementation in partnership with SB Bike. And these expenditures will be offset with the OTS grant. And lastly, this was also previously authorized by City Council, a $29,160 increase in appropriation to account for the contract renewal with Metro Ventures from October 2020 through June 30th, 2020. Staff recommends that the City Council consider adoption resolution number 20-34 to reflect the budget amendments just mentioned. If City Council has any questions, I am open to answer them at this time.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Let's see, Vice Mayor Sanchez, any questions?
No, thank you very much for.
Any questions, John?
No questions. Thank you.
Ed, any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, Mr. King, any questions?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. I'm good. Thanks, Chanel.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. Councilmember Lewis, any questions?
Not at this time. Not at this time, no.
Thank you. Linda, no public comment, Linda?
No comments.
If there's no comments, then I move to approve Resolution 20-34 as presented.
I'll second it.
Who's second?
4 seconds.
Take your pick.
Okay. All right, Councilmember Lewis.
Take your pick, Linda.
Councilmember King.
Aye.
Councilmember Andrusik.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Sanchez.
Aye.
And Mayor Sierra.
Mayor Sierra?
Aye,
Okay,
thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, and, yes,
I wish you can hear me.
yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, you were frozen. My apologies here.
I apologize. Agenda item 16, consideration of the renaming of Damaso Road. Mr. Wolf.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the City Council. If you'll recall, a couple months ago, we were engaged in a joint meeting of the Planning Commission and City Council to discuss some issues surrounding our land use and circulation element updates. There were, as part of that discussion, some points brought up about improvements along both Avenue of Flags and Highway 246. Subsequent discussions that Mayor Sierra has had at SB CAG brought up the idea of renaming portions of Highway 246, as well as other locations here in the city. in an effort to start the process down the road and kind of figure out where the city wants to go with this, staff is proposing looking at a series of renamings of cities within town here in an effort to more accurately reflect some of the heritage and history of the city. Damasa Road is a connector road that is essentially simply the overpass that connects Avenue of Flags with McMurray Road across Highway 101. In discussing the renaming of any street, it's important to recognize what the intent of the street name, the current street name is, and to ensure that we're not eliminating the memory or the honor that was bestowed on someone previously. Staff has made some inquiries with the Buellton Historical Society and others within the community to determine that this would not happen in this case. There is no record of any historical figure or business in the city of Buellton or in the San Ynez Valley with the name Damasa. Therefore, we're confident that the name of the road can be changed by the City Council without having any concern for disregarding contributions of a significant person or business in the city's history. Given that the ownership of the property at the eastern end of the road is held by Dr. James Buell, and given the obvious significance of the Buell family and the history of Buellton, staff would suggest that a change of Buell Way, a change to Buell Way would be considered by the City Council. However, this is a policy matter. The City Council is free to do whatever it likes in this regard, and staff would simply ask that that the City Council consider the matter and give staff direction as to how you'd like to see it move forward. Staff will, if the council desires a name change to this street, return at a future City Council meeting with a resolution reflecting that. And with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions for our city manager? Don't see any questions. Any public comment, Linda?
No comment.
Okay. Bringing it back to council for discussion. I do have to say, yes?
Oh, I have a council comment rather than discussion, if this might be the appropriate spot for it.
Absolutely.
I'm happy that we're focused on at a place that tied to a human being that's had a tremendous involvement in the community, and of which I think Dr. Buell, I have never, in the 45 years that I've been involved in Buellton, have never seen him refuse or degrade or speak poorly of the actions that the organizations, be it the Community Service District or any of the organizations, and several of our council sit on different organizations. He has always been supportive when you've asked, anytime you've asked him for his opinion. He is a historical wheelhouse for the community, and I've always found his operations to be for the betterment of Buellton and the San Ynez Valley. And I would encourage us to, I find a strong support for myself to, if you're going to change the name, I think that would keep it local, and it has a historical significance. It is his contribution to Buellton.
I agree with you, Councilman Andrusik. As a member of the Buellton Historical Society, I know you have been too. I think it's important to remember our founders and the people that helped create the beautiful city that we live in. So I'm in favor of that too. I remember Caltrans and SBCAG suggested down the line perhaps renaming Highway 246. They said it won't change it very much, but the idea that people are driving on a street rather than a highway slows slows maybe 2 to 5 miles an hour. It'll slow that down. So down the line, I would also like, not in this, not tonight, and I know I'm pushing it, Greg, but I'd like to think of possibly renaming our Highway 246 to either the Williamson Parkway or the Everett Avenue. We have quite a few people who help make this town, Buellton, the city, what it is today, and I would like to recognize them. But I think this is a wonderful start to have a Buellway instead of DeMassa. So, any other comments?
So let me just say that a couple good reasons for starting with Buellway. Renaming Highway 246 actually has to be done by the state legislature. It's a more involved process, tends to be done pretty well. Caltrans tends to be supportive of it, and you need their support to do it. That's certainly something that I know is on the city manager's plate. But that will affect a large number of businesses that will wind up having to get new stationery, to the extent we all use stationery still, update their websites, go through a big process. To let them know that that kind of thing might be coming is a good idea. Starting with Buellway, as the staff report says, there are no businesses affected. So if you do move forward and direct the city manager, this is kind of a good test case, and then we can go from there. But our office is looking into how to make that 246 change, just so the council knows that that will not be something that will come as a shock when you give us that direction down the line.
Thank you very much. Okay, so do we need a motion or just consensus?
Madam Mayor?
Yes, Councilman King. Yes.
Did anybody recommend that be called Dave King Street?
I have a comment too.
That came in a close second.
Actually, honestly, when I read this, I think Dr. Buell has done, like you said, enormous amount for this community, and they go way back before all of us. That Buell Way is kind of clunky. I mean, I think Buell Street sounds better than Buell Way. I mean, think about it. Put it in your head and do the two together. Buell Way, Buell Street. Buell Street. Buell
It's not
Way.
Buell Highway, because Buell Highway you go too fast on.
Yeah, exactly. But that's my recommendation. If you kind of think about that, it flows grammatically for me, or just the way it sounds. Buell Street sounds better than Buell Way.
Buell Overpass. We're big.
Then why not? No,
Buell
honestly,
Clover.
you could actually go that way too. But just reading it on a piece of paper, that Buell Way is kind of clunky, in my opinion.
Okay.
And hey,
But we
and that's
certainly
also,
don't want.
and Wally, what you recommended, actually, that even sounds just as good to me. Buell Overcross or Buell Overpass, because that's what it is.
Buell Lane. Buell Lane.
I would remind the council only when you're picking a name that if all of the plans for Avenue of the Flags come to fruition, this will be the northern entrance to Avenue of the Flags. So Councilman King's initial suggestion on way versus street, how this will be viewed by visitors, how it might roll off their tongue or not, is a good one. I would caution us to not be, overpass, though that's what it is today. We might want to be careful with things like that.
I like the lane. Buell Lane sounds good.
Buell Street.
Buell Lane
That's
is
good too.
Yeah, I just think recognizing Dr. Buell is the most important. So do you need a vote on this, or do you have consensus?
I had a comment.
Okay, Vice Mayor.
Well, I just wanted to thank Scott for bringing this to us, and I appreciate the historical aspect of it. I think it's good for the city. It's good for everybody else, and also there will be a Buell exit on the freeway, and so that Dave's point is well taken. So whoever gets off the freeway, it'll say Buell Way or Buell exit or Buell Street. But I just think that's important. Thank you.
To answer the mayor's question, we don't at this point need a formal vote, I believe, just direction from the city council, but I would like to get clear direction on the actual name if we can, so that when the resolution comes back, we can have that embodied in that document.
Well, I'm going to formally nominate it Buell Street.
Madam Mayor, not to interrupt you have a motion. I'm sorry, Dave.
No, I'm just going to say I'm going to formally nominate it to be Buell Street.
I would second it.
Ed, did you want to say something?
I just wonder if it might not be appropriate to ask Dr. Buell his preference for way, street, if we're wanting to help. But I'm sorry, John, I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, I said avenue, whatever. I think that'd be appropriate to ask him. That's a good idea.
Because he may have a feeling about it, and it would be. I think it would be. He would. I'm certain.
That would show a lot of respect.
Strong accommodate or a strong remembrance of his community involvement in Buellton every time he saw the print. I'm very pleased that we're discussing this.
Okay.
And maybe he should be involved. Sorry, Mayor.
Is that a motion?
No, well, there is no motion, just direction, and we're supposed to come up with a Buell Street, road, lane, overpass, underpass.
Madam Mayor,
do you want to talk to Dr. Buell about it?
Madam Mayor, if you'd like, I can contact Dr. Buell, talk to Dr. Buell about it. I can bring back a resolution with a, for lack of anything better, a blank in it, and then I'll bring Dr. Buell's request, and if the city council is in agreement, we can fill that in at the night of the hearing, and we can proceed from there.
Perfect.
I think that's great. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay, everybody in agreement?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Agenda item number 17. Alicia, we usually don't have 17 of them.
Thank you.
Punishment.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. This is an update on progress towards the 2020 City Council priorities. Mr. Bull.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the City Council. This is an informational-only item, really. As you'll recall, back in February of this year, the City Council established a list of priorities as a means to direct staff's work on very specific items over the coming year. This is more precise than the general goals we find in our budget document. These are individual issues that the council wants us to pay particular attention to. We try and bring these back to the City Council every 3 to 4 months to let you know what our progress is. The attachment to this staff report has a list of the priorities along with an update for each one indicating what progress has been made. A number of these are in an ongoing status, meaning that there has been some progress made, but we're not done yet, and some of these we may never be done. It's just something that moves on. There are a couple of them that have been closed out, those being the city engineering RFP issue, priority number 3, and the second one being priority number 6, which is creating a community get-together event, possibly at the Buellton Rec Center. We, given the COVID situation, we were unable to do anything of the sort. However, the Rec Department did manage to pull together our drive-in movie event at the Williamson property, which turned out to be a fairly successful event and may lead to others in the future. Clearly, that's something that Buellton Rec will continue to work on when COVID finally lets loose of us. We will revisit this, reevaluate it, and see if we can't put together some other sort of community event for the council. Otherwise, there are just general updates here. We will revisit this matter in late January or early February when I return to the City Council with a new list of priorities that I will obtained by polling each of you as to what you think priorities ought to be. Then you can decide which priorities you'd like to see identified for the coming year. At this point, I'd be happy if you just received and filed this, although if you do have any questions about the priority list we have here, or you have any comments or direction to staff regarding these priorities over the next several months, please take this opportunity and give that to us right now. And with that, I'll conclude my report.
You're muted, Holly.
Yeah.
Is that enough for you, Scott?
Thank you very much. Thank you. Any questions? Any public comments on this?
No, ma'am, no comments.
Okay. Then we shall receive and file, look forward to more updates on it, and look forward to creating a whole new list of priorities for our city manager and staff to work on.
Do we have to have consensus, Greg, or is that just a
Receive
just
and file is fine. Nope,
Okay.
you're all right.
Discussion.
All righty. Moving on to our city manager's report.
I knew there was something I was forgetting here. Okay. Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the City Council. My report tonight will focus really on one major item. There are two components to it. The first note is that, as the City Council is aware, the City of Solvang has taken some rather public action with regard to their treatment of the COVID situation and the public health orders. As part of that action, they have written a letter to the governor requesting that Santa Barbara, Ventura, and San Luis Obispo counties be removed from the Southern California region associated with the governor's lockdown, for lack of a better term. The County Board of Supervisors this week also drafted such a letter to the governor, and as we did not have the ability to place an item on the agenda, I would simply note that I am in the midst of preparing a letter to the governor, and without objection from the City Council this evening, I will go ahead and send that letter. It would be set up for the mayor's signature if the mayor doesn't mind signing it, essentially requesting the same thing. So without objection, I will move forward and have that mailed to the governor and conveyed also to the County Board of Supervisors. And secondly, we brought it up already. Vice Mayor Sanchez brought it up earlier this evening, having to do with a special meeting to discuss these types of issues. Staff will be polling the City Council here probably tomorrow to figure out when a good time to meet early next week might be, and we will put together the appropriate notice for that and hold a meeting as quickly as we can pull it together. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions the council may have about anything going on right now, but I'll conclude the city manager's report.
Thank you very much. If we get the letter drafted, do we still need a special meeting?
Well, it's up to the city council. The letter, I can have the letter drafted and we can put it out tomorrow. The letter would only go so far as to request that the governor remove the three counties from the Southern California region. If there are other actions that the city council wants to consider or discuss, then a special meeting would be appropriate.
Council?
Yeah, I think that sounds good to me. I mean, I think what he can do is just send us an email what the letter is, and then
I agree with you, Dave.
prior to him sending it, and then if anybody has an objection, then we can go from there.
Perhaps modify.
Right.
So start with the letter, and if we need to, we can do a special meeting I mean, we can always have a special meeting, but perhaps the letter is a good starting place.
No, I think this question is for Greg, from me. If he writes that letter, emails each of us individually, and we approve, is that a Brown?
You would not approve. What Scott would do is draft the letter, send it to all five of you, and if any one of you objected and wanted to have a meeting about it, then we would schedule the special meeting.
Got you.
There's no Brown Act violation. He's not getting direction. He's not getting approval. All he's saying is, if any one of you, which again, doesn't get close to a quorum, just gets one who says no, then we'll hold the meeting. That's a very safe way to do something like this.
Gotcha. Good. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, John.
I would like to have a meeting, a proactive meeting to discuss it and maybe talk to some of the restaurant owners and whoever's affected most, and also invite the health inspector so they could explain themselves to us and our constituents what their plan is with the ticketing restaurants and where seating could be. I discussed it with a couple people about putting extra tables on the avenue so people would have a place to eat instead of sitting at the curb. There was an idea of Manhattan Beach where the city put tables out for the people to use, and at least we could make it an inviting city instead of us sit in your car, sit on the curb city. I'd just like to talk over some ideas and with everybody that would be something that we wouldn't violate the Brown Act, trying to come up with something, and then and also make it a public meeting.
Oh, we can do that. I feel very strongly about not violating mandates from the state or the county. I mean, the county has sent a letter to the state stating that they don't want to be part of Los Angeles, but that doesn't mean that they're telling all their restaurants to keep serving people. I disagree with that. I want to help our local businesses, but not by violating mandates.
So we're starting to get into the discussion that we want to have at a meeting.
Yeah, right. Well, correct me if I'm wrong, Scott. All you want to do is just send them a letter to take us out of the Southern District so that we do not have the same regulations as Greater Los Angeles.
That's correct, and it would be patterned much after the letter that the Board of Supervisors has already drafted, and yes, it would solely have to do with that.
Right, and then all this other minutia we can get into another day.
Anything else would be appropriately discussed at a special meeting, or the next regular meeting if you wanted to wait that long.
Okay. Alrighty. Gonna write up. Go ahead, Alicia.
Might it be wise to wait and see what the response from that letter is before we have a meeting? It might be wise to see if they just take us out of those restrictions, then the meeting's a moot point because the restrictions no longer apply to us.
Yeah, I was looking more forward to doing something
entirely too logical.
I doubt we're going to get a response.
John's the rebel of the group.
Well, I think we're good. If the county doesn't get a response, we haven't got a response. We need to do something.
Madam Mayor,
I have my make-believe gavel.
Madam Mayor, they have to at least say yes or no.
Yes.
I mean, Scott's going to send a letter, so
yes,
they're going to go one way or the other.
Right. And then we go from there.
It may be a while before we get a response, though. It is December, mid-December. It may be well into January before we actually receive a formal response.
Or have the restrictions taken up.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, if there is no other business tonight, then I am adjourning our meeting. It is 7:49, and I'll see you all on Thursday, January 14th at 6 o'clock. Thank you very much.
Hey, good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Pleasant holiday, everybody.